In this demo, I would be inserting virtual FTD using unmanaged service graph. This is example of my tenant 1. Under tenant 1, I have app EPG and DB EPG. Under app EPG, I have 10.1.0/24 network, and DB EPG has 10.2.0.0/24 network. I will install FMC. Once FMC is installed, I will install two virtual FTDs, and then using FMC I will configure HA for these two FTDs. Once HA is configured, IP address is configured, access policy is configured, I will then log into APIC controller, and from APIC controller I will add this FTD HA pair in uh, in APIC controller as L4 to L7 device, and then instruct APIC controller to stitch these devices between DB and app EPG. So with this, what we can do is we can pause this video and then log into jump box, and from jump box I will show you how to configure it. So I'm now connected to jump box, and from jump box I have access to my vCenter. So I'm going to start this demo with deployment of Firepower Management Center and deployment of virtual Firepower Threat Defense. So I'm going to deploy it using OVF template. So I have already saved it on one of the servers locally, so you can download it from cisco.com, and then browse to that particular file and click on next. Click accept, click next. I'll name it as ACI flash FMC2 pod 21. I'm going to put it in folder pod 21. I'll select my first host. I will select storage. Will provision at 10. I'll select management interface. So I'm going to put this interface in management VLAN. So I have VLAN 21 management already created. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to use Cisco 123 as password here. fmc2.cisco.com. I will leave DNS. IP address that I'm gonna assign is 10.0.0.50/24. 10.0.0.1 is the default gateway. No IPv6 required, so I'll just go ahead and click on next. I'll select power on after deployment. So this process is going to take around 30 to 45 minutes. So in the meantime, I'll go ahead and minimize this and start deployment of the virtual FTD. So I have that image as well. So I've just browsed that particular image, clicked on next, accept. I will name it as VFTD 1-POD21. Again, I'm going to put it in pod 21. First host, same host, I'm putting it on same host. Same storage, thin provision. So for this particular thing, what I'll do is I'll place this management interface again to the management. I have pod 21 HA. sorry, port 21 management VLAN. So I'm going to use this gig 0 interface as outside, gig 1 interface as inside, and gig 2 interface as HA. So I have created a separate VLAN for failover interface. So I'm going to use port 21 HA. So let me see where that VLAN is, or the port profile is. This is the one, P21 HA-121. Again, password Cisco 123, Cisco 123, FTDv1.cisco.com. I'll leave DNS blank. IP address that I will assign here is 10.0.0.51/24, 10.0.0.1 is the default gateway. IP address IPv6 is not required. I will be placing it as routed mode, so I'll select routed mode. So when you install virtual FTD, it is managed by FMC, Firepower Management Center. So we need to define manager address here. So manager address is FMC that we have created earlier. So it is 10.0.0.50. Registration key, I'm going to use Cisco 123. I'll power it on after deployment. So I'm going to deploy another VFTD, and reason I'm deploying another one is because I have a plan of configuring HA of virtual firepower threat defense. So in the same way, I will just name it as VFTD2 pod 21. I would be placing it in the same pod, same host. You can select different host as well and different storage also, but for simplicity purpose, I'm just using the same pod as of now. So I'm just selecting same pod and same host and same storage, thin provision. Again, this interface is going to be management interface, port 21. This is the one. I'm putting gig 0/2 in port 21 HA. So let me see where that port group is. Since I have a lot of profiles, it's getting difficult for me to find it, but yeah, I got it now. So again, Cisco 123, Cisco 123, VFTD 2.cisco.com. I will assign IP address 10.0.0.52/24, 10.0.0.1, and again this is in routed mode. So I'll just leave it as routed mode. 10.0.0.50 is the same manager for this device as well. Click next, power on after deployment. So all three appliances are getting deployed, and this process can take up to 30 to 45 minutes depending upon the resources available on your host. So I'm going to pause this video for now, and we'll join back once these appliances are deployed. So now all three appliances are up, and I'm now accessing Firepower Management Center. So username is admin, password is Cisco 123. So I'm going to access it for the first time, and once I'm into GUI of this, I'll go ahead and add my virtual Firepower threat defenses. So I'll go to devices first. So before that, I'll just go to system and click on licenses and click on smart license. Under smart license, I will just enable evolution mode. Then I'll go to devices, device management, and under device management I will add my virtual FTDs. So I'm going to add 10.0.0.51. I'll name it as VFTD1. Key is Cisco 123. So I'll create a new policy. So this policy will be applied to sensors. So I'll just name it as FTDd policy, and I'll just select network discovery for now. I'm not blocking anything, so I'm just clicking network discovery, and I'll click on save. I'll select all three options, and I'll click on register. So this process will take around 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So what is going in the background is this FMC is now trying to contact virtual FTD, and now registration is in process. So once this device is registered here, you can configure anything from FMC. So this is going to take some time, and let's wait for some time, and then I'll tell you about further process. In the meantime, I will, since this is taking some extra time, so I'll just log into CLI of virtual FTD1, and let me show it to you. Cisco 123. So I will just go ahead and type show manager here. So I think in the background also, if you can see, the registration process is complete, and this sensor can be seen here in FMC as well. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing for second VFTD. So IP address for second VFTD is 10.0.0.52 VFTD2. I'll use same policy for this sensor as well. Select all the three and click on and registration key Cisco 123, and I'll click on register. I have CLI of second sensor as well, so I'll just log in. Username is admin, password is Cisco 123. So this is FMC. I'm on the wrong window. Let me go to FTD 2. Okay, it is here. So username is admin, password Cisco123. Show managers. So registration is in process at the moment. Yeah, so it is also completed. So we can now see both sensors. Both sensors are now discovered in FMC. Next step is to go to virtual sensor 1. On the virtual sensor 1, I'll modify interfaces. So I'll just enable this interface, leave mode of this interface none. I will name this interface as app. I will create a new zone. So I want to stitch this HA pair between app and DB EPGs. So I'll just create a zone accordingly. IP address that I'm going to use here is 10.1.0.1/24. Similarly, I will go ahead and assign address here. So I will just name it as DB interface. So I'll create a new zone, DB. IP address that I will use is 10.2.0.1/24. Sorry, forgot to add subnet here. So now we have assigned IP address, we have created zone, we have mapped interfaces to zones as well. So I'll just click on save, and then I will click on deploy. I'll deploy this configuration to VFTD1. So this configuration is now getting deployed. In the meantime, I'll go back to device management. Device management, next task is to create HA pair of these two VFTDs. Okay, so I'll click on add, configure high availability. I'll just name it as VFTD-HA. I'll select FTD as device. VFTD1 is primary device, VFTD2 is the secondary device. I'll click on continue. So there is some deployment happening in the background. That is the reason I got this error message. So I'll click on close, and then we'll wait for this deployment to finish. Okay, so it is already done. So let me try again. Add high availability, VFTD-HA. Primary devices VFTD1, secondary devices VFTD2. Click on continue. I will select Gig 2 interface as my failover interface as well as my state interface. I've already placed at the time of deployment of these VFTDs, I have already placed Gig 02 interface in a separate port group or VLAN. So I'm going to use the name of this link as Fover. IP address that I will be using is 10.0.3.1, 10.10301. Secondary IP is 10.302. And subnet is 255.255.255.0. I'll just click on add. Okay, I'll just click on OK. This process could take up to 2 to 3 minutes to discover and configure everything. So once this is configured, and this particular error message that you see here on the right hand side is just because I have not connected these FMCs to internet, so it cannot sync information from AMP database. So we'll ignore it because we are not configuring that at the moment. So we'll concentrate on HA. So let's wait for some more time. In the meantime, while these things are getting deployed, I'll show you another thing. I'll go to policy. Under policy, I'll go to access control. And under access control, if you look carefully, I have created one policy already named FTD policy. I'll just click on edit, and I will add a new rule. Under this rule, what I'll do is I'll go to ports. I will type HTTP add to destination, telnet add to destination, SSH add to destination. I'll type ICMP all add. I will also open UDP add, and then I'll name this rule as rule 1. I will enable logging for this rule as well. So at the end of the connection and at the beginning of the connection, I will get logs as well. So I'll just go to zones. Under zones, I will select app to DB and reverse also. Under networks, I will say any as source, any as destination. So anything that will pass through these sensors will be logged. I'll just click on OK, and then I'll create another rule, and that rule would be a block rule. So I'll just name it as rule 2. Any to any destination. I will just block it. So again, this is not getting logged by default, so I will just go to this rule again. I will enable logging. So we now have two rules. In rule 1, I have allowed certain traffic, and I have created a block at the bottom of this just to log traffic. I'll click on save to save this configuration, and I will go to deploy button. So HA configuration is still getting deployed, so let's wait for that to happen. And let me see, and let me go back to device management. So this is getting discovered, so it's gonna take some time. And in the meantime, let me go to vCenter again and go to these virtual FTDs, and let me see if we have ports in the correct port group or not. Yeah, port 21 HA, it is connected. Okay, pod 21 HA, it is connected. Good. Let me go back to that FMC again. So this process is taking some more time deploying configuration from scratch. So in the meantime, while this is getting deployed, let me go to objects again. I'll close this. Objects again. Under objects, we have security zones. So we have two security zones at the moment. App. Under app, we have FTD1, application interface, or gig0 interface. Then we have DB, and under DB we have DB interface as well. So I think HA is up already. Let me go to devices again. Select HA. Yeah, HA is up. VFTD1 is primary active. VFTD2 is secondary standby. So we still have some configuration to be deployed because we modified access policies. So I need to deploy that as well. So once I'll click on deploy, this configuration, the policy configuration, is pushed to HA pair. In the meantime, while this information is getting deployed, I will go to HA pair, click on edit. Now here on this particular screen, I will go to interfaces and configure standby addresses. So here I have specified this address, and the other one is 10.202. Save configuration and click on deploy. It is very important that whenever you make any changes here, you need to deploy it. Until and unless you deploy, that configuration is not pushed to sensors. So make sure when you make a change, save it and click on deploy so that configuration is pushed to virtual sensors. So again, this process will take some time. So if we go to device management here, we have a working HA, and let's see if configuration is still getting deployed. Yes, it is. So, and once I'm done with this deployment of HA, what I will be doing is I will be logging into Epic Controller, creating a new tenant from scratch. I will add two EPGs, EPG app and EPG DB. Under those EPGs, I will be adding two machines, one in app EPG, the other one in DB EPG, and then I will stitch this HA pair between those two EPGs to enable communication. So while this thing is getting deployed, let me take you to command line interface of a virtual FTD. So here I can type system support diagnostic CLI. This is the configuration, so I can show you this. Show IP. These all three interfaces are configured. If I do show access list, I have these rules configured. It is pushed automatically from the FMC. And let me see here, what is the status now? Okay, so I will just go ahead and deploy remaining part of the configuration. So we now have our HA setup up and running. So we have FTD1 running as primary active ASA, primary active VFTD. VFTD2 is secondary standby. So we have already deployed everything from FMC, so only policies are getting pushed now. So I'll just go ahead and pause this video here and log into Epic Controller and stitch it in the data path between app and DB. So I'll go ahead and pause this video for now and resume in a couple of minutes.